Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, getting my day started. I'm gonna go and grab some stuff from Target as I often do. I haven't done a therapy session in days, and I've just been maintaining, man. It's been a resting day, a couple of days for me, resting, not doing too much thinking about much, just enjoying my life so far and start the holiday week. Of course, it's Thanksgiving, so encourage everybody to enjoy their Thanksgiving as they, enjoy your meals and family and friends that you may not frequently see often, but it gives you an opportunity to reunite with folks. So I think this is one of the best times of the year, even though we're celebrating. It initially is a celebration of the founding of America, which is something that in the modern times right now just doesn't feel as celebratory to me, to be honest with you. And you know how it got done, and you see what's happening around the world right now. So it's kind of hard to feel the same way about that as maybe we normally do. But I still think we've turned a negative into a positive as it pertains to being thankful on that day and celebrating one another and celebrating the Most High and cooking good food. I think it's always a good reason to come together, so, and be thankful and consider the idea of what it is that you should be considering in life as we get the grace that comes with our lives in whatever way we form we do. So for me, I just want to be acknowledging of the suffering that ensued for this holiday to be founded and for this country to be founded, but also want to celebrate the gifts of compassion and friendship and family, and in hopes that we could continue on the path of making this place better than what it was founded upon, I guess you could say. And so that's my hope as an American person who intends to celebrate Thanksgiving completely aware and saddened by the suffering that ultimately the Native Americans had to go through in order for this country to be what it is. Native Americans who are still alive to this day, not only in myself as I once described, but as in human beings who are still alive, very much standing strong, not represented enough, but very much alive today. So salute to them. But as I stand upright and thankful, I was praying a little harder this morning. Don't really know why. I feel pretty good, but it's just, I don't know if it's the changing of the weather that makes me feel more prayerful. I don't know what it is. I know we're stepping back into rain territory, but I just felt really intentional on telling God to help me with whatever it is that's ahead. I don't particularly have too many woes in my life right now, other than the normal stuff that I've been dealing with for the last year. Everything's been pretty clear in my area of life, but still, there may be a lot of things I'm neglecting, and maybe a lot of things that I need to be doing, and maybe I'm just not doing, or whatever the case may be. And I just ask for God to kind of redirect me into doing those things, whatever they may be. I've been enjoying my interests, doing a lot of art lately. Did a couple playlists this weekend, 2 of them, one yesterday, in fact last night. I ended up going to sleep a little early, around 8 o'clock, since it was no Laker game, and it was one of those gloomy days, so I found myself falling asleep early and ended up waking up at like midnight. And so it was one of those situations where I got up, cleaned up, did a whole shower, one of those nice 1 a.m. showers, and then decided to work on a playlist of African jazz type music. I've done plenty of playlists like that. I've done at least 10 of those, but it's just one of those situations where I had a bunch of that stuff laid out for myself, so I just arranged it last night, completed it, and then the day before that, or the 2 days before that, I had like a rock album, rock slash electro type thing going on with the playlist that I had, and I thought that came out really good as well. I made some good art while listening to it. It's a different vibe for me, but it's actually one I really appreciate a lot. So, you know, just kind of got into a different kind of vibe as it pertains to music. Of course, I've been listening to Kendrick Lamar's album, enjoyed the hell out of that too. So, you know, it's just been that kind of thing, kind of quiet as it pertains to my own situation. Ain't been leaving the house too much because trying to hold off on the cost. And, you know, if I ain't got to leave the house, it can save me a little money, not taking the train and all of that. So that's kind of what it's been, just trying to save money. But missing that exercise that I've been getting. But, you know, I feel a lot better. I think my body's reacting better. As I was saying last time we did a therapy session, my body was tired because I was constantly doing push-ups, and the squat regimen had gotten significantly harder with more weight in the suitcase and all of that. My body's kind of adjusted to that at this point. You know, the rest that I've been getting these last couple of days kind of helped me heal. And I feel about 100%, man. And then not only that, but some of the stomach issues I've been having for the last couple of weeks with the food, I ain't had none of those over the last 4 days or so since I've been able to get calamari into my system. Calamari is a squid, for those who don't know. You know, mixing that with the rice has helped kind of coast my stomach a little bit. So I ain't really had some of those issues. I've been very happy about that, man. It's been a bad couple of weeks for that. So for me to have had at least 4 days straight where no problems have been in place, I feel a lot better. I feel stronger. My legs are 10 times stronger because of all the lifting and squatting I've been doing. And so I just feel overall physically better. Hopefully that lasts a little while this time, you know. Keeping up with my routine, but consistency is what it's all about here. And just continuing to allow the Lord to come into my life to collaborate with me on my creative endeavors, I guess you can say. Been praying a lot about that. Help me use my voice for the right reasons. Even when talking about the Lakers, I still want to represent myself in a way that he can be pleased with, and tell the truth and sneak in some truth into even conversations about things that are not as important. You know, I've noticed that I haven't been talking as much about Gaza, but I just don't know if there's any updates, you know, that I can provide to you guys that isn't just a regurgitation of the same repetitive sadness and suffering that's going on in that situation. They're still bombing people. They're still killing people. They're still torturing people. They're still, you know what I mean? But at this point, the latest thing that I heard was that Assad agents' names have allegedly been leaked. I don't know how legitimate the leak is, but from what I understand, they got like 35,000 names that just hit the black market that are supposed to be Assad agents, Israeli Secret Service and Israeli spies all over the world. And so that is like the latest thing. I'm praying a lot that the Lord do the difficult math of holding them all accountable, whoever it is, regardless of where they at or what their intentions were or how far deep in the dark they're able to hide. That the situation ultimately gets accounted for, that he find them no matter if they're like a needle in a haystack, that he bring out all the needles, so to speak, that have made it so that suffering has taken place. And that's really what it's about, man. It's difficult math. They're gonna try to make it a fall guy type situation. Oh, it's Gallant. Oh, it's Netanyahu. Nah, those are two people. I think it's probably 1 million people, no exaggeration, that have all played a part in making that thing happen. Poured their money into it, turned a blind eye, helped mold the circumstances that ultimately people are aware of versus what it is they're supposed to be aware of. Media members and PR people that have all come together to work as a machine to not only make it so that this genocide takes place, but that it be suppressed. I think all of those people need to be held accountable for the murdering of however many Palestinians and surrounding Arab people that have been killed in this genocide. I think they all should be held accountable. No different than your homeboy down the street who passed the gun to your other homeboy type thing, and they want to put him in jail for life. They put all these other people in jail for life. no matter how far into the business or the system they are in, no matter how deep in the dark they may be found. Like, I'm asking the Lord to do the difficult math to get them all, man. You know, and that's what it's about. No fall guy situations when it comes to this genocide. We're in 2024. It is documented. Everything that people do is documented. All the evidence necessary to show that this crime has taken place has been documented on camera. You can find anybody anywhere because cameras are everywhere. There should be no reason where we allow for this to be a fall guy like situation. We can't be that stupid as a nation. It's to think that we allow a genocide to happen. Then when it's time to hold people accountable, we pick out like 5 or 6 names. You know what I'm saying? And just be like, those are the guys that did it. You let that happen, you best believe there's going to be more genocides in the future. If that's all it takes to get away with it. For a whole world of people to get away with killing millions of people, they just got to sacrifice 5 or 6 names? Hell nah. That's not holding somebody accountable. That's letting them get away with it. If we want to call ourselves helping people get away with it, do that. Blame it all on Gallant and freaking Bibi, if that's what y'all want to do. And you effectively tell the future that this is fine and they can get away with it, no problem. And that's exactly what we shouldn't be doing. That's exactly what's most irresponsible of us as people walking the earth today. And I tell you, man, the next genocide, you don't know who it's going to be pointed at. You don't know who it's going to be pointed at. That's why I tell people, don't be so certain that you're safe. If you let people think they can get away with this type of thing, they may point it at you next. And so that's what it is. So, you know, it's just aware of the fall guy method that is being used right now. Try to say that this is just a few people, you know, that's it. Nobody else is doing this. It's just them, hold them accountable, and that's it. That's wrong. And we know it. And so that's really a thing, you know. What else is going on, man? At the end of the day, for me, honestly, I've just been in a space of great peace and appreciation. No coincidence that Thanksgiving is around the corner, but I've just been, you know, reflecting on my own personal circumstances and how things have kind of smoothed themselves out. You know, when I look back on the most of this year, it has gone by very fast. But just like every time I have a very bad year, the following year has tended to be very smooth and peaceful and nonchalant, so to speak. And I guess that has a lot to do with how I live my life. How in my regular life and the way that I do things, I don't really welcome too many people in or too many circumstances in that would allow me to receive any stress. I avoid a lot of things, even if it's probably not in my best interest, to assure that my day-to-day is little stress in it as possible. And you know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I live my life just in general. So unless there's a crisis to address, I'm kind of in a space where I'm afforded peace. And you know, my family a lot for taking care of the financial aspect of it, so I ain't have to do the hustle and bustle of trying to you know, keep up with a 9-to-5 this year. I also owe a lot to my therapist who helped me through that, even though I haven't spoken to her in about a month and a half. You know, throughout the course of the year, going there and helping me reflect on certain things, kind of helped me stay away from things like weed and, you know, just wasting time, staying consistent, pointing out certain things about myself that allowed me to kind of find balance and feel more healthy, you know. And I think that's where I can say I feel right now. I'm not 100% mentally, you know, obviously there's a lot for me to overcome, but some of the issues that I was suffering mentally, I feel a lot healthier right now, I guess is what I could say. You know, I feel stronger in regards to resisting nonsense. And so, you know, that's kind of the mindset I've been in, just a reflection of the whole year. Now that we're at the end of the year, it's gone by so fast, and the days have been very peaceful. I've spent a lot of time in comfortable spaces. You know, going home to Hollywood every other day or what have you, visiting Mom several times this year, going to her gravesite, you know, going to the observatory, going to just different places and and in the house consistently doing things that I know are good for me, art, exercise, prayer, that kind of stuff. It's kept me from day to day to day having really good days. Yeah, we had some blips in the road when it's time to move from a room. Maybe I had to stay an extra day at a room, or maybe I had a situation where I wasn't as comfortable because the room didn't, whatever the case may be. Shower wasn't set up straight. But for the most part, this has been the type of year that I ultimately would have wanted after the roughest year of my adult life, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of gratefulness for that. Even though it's going by really fast, it's been what I needed it to be so that I could kind of catch my breath. And that's what the Lord has always afforded me in my life. So I feel a whole lot of favor, and at the same time, there's a lot of pride in my personality these days in myself, because I have been talking about the genocide so much this year. I have been raising awareness on my channel about that, unapologetically. And you look yourself in the mirror, you see a lot more of a worthy human being to the grace that you've been provided when you going against what other people are afraid to do for the betterment of others, not your own selfishness. I think we've grown a lot. A lot of the content that I've left here this year has been helpful. Listening back to it, you know what I mean? And I hope that I've helped others as well in the future, because I don't think nobody really knows I'm here at this moment. But like in the future, I've been praying that the Lord make it so that all the stuff that I'm doing is it ages well, and that it is exposed to more people as time progresses, and that the environment from which people would reflect upon old stuff would kind of mature a bit, so that what it is I'm doing makes even more sense later on. However that looks. But that's really what it is, man. Just trying to get my body back in shape as well, pushing myself in that way, and trying to find a balance of rest and adjusting to the fact that my body is older now, so it requires more rest to get back to 100%. And then the stomach stuff and all of that takes from it as well. So it's like, I'm just maintaining, man. I would love to be able to do more, in regards to these things, but budgeting and all that just kind of keeps me in a space where I have to kind of be, mindful of how much of what it is I want to do, I'm able to do. And so, that discipline is important. The rationing, so to speak, is essential. And so, it's just the times that I'm in, man. It's the times that I'm in. A lot of people in these circumstances, and they have this few interactions with others, they're lonely. But I'm not, man. I'm not. I'm fulfilled. I have myself, I have the Holy Spirit, and I don't feel alone, even when I am. And I really don't. And in fact, I'm more social now, given the fact that I'm getting out more every day than I was when I was living in Lenox. So it's almost like a progression in a way. And though time is passing by going forward, and I still don't have a family, still don't have a wife and all that stuff, I just don't think the Lord has wired me to really want any of that yet. Despite it kind of me getting to a point in my life where I should probably have already had it. Saying really wanted to incorporate others into my situation. The stress that comes with people dealing with human beings sometimes can be a lot. Even people you love, it could be a lot. So I think the Lord knows what I need, and He's kind of giving me exactly what I need. And so I really don't have any complaints in that regard, man. If anything, I'm just patient and asking Him to kind of mold me, just like I'm asking Him to do in regards to my stuff aging well, kind of molding me to where I can organically welcome certain things to my life that maybe I don't want right now, but should, if it becomes what it is He wants to do, with my life. And if not, then may I perceive peace in not having certain things, not feeling like I need to have those things, or that something's missing from my life when I don't actually feel that. You know what I mean? That's kind of that's a real thing. It's not only that you choose to do certain things and are comfortable with your choices, but that you perceive you're making the right decisions while doing so, rather than perceive yourself defiant. Because the world has taught us that we should want certain things, that we should be about certain things, but a lot of times that may not align with your personality or who you are. And so you try to incorporate those things into your life so that you can fit in with the world around you that really doesn't have you in mind when assessing what everyone should have. You know what I mean? They don't have you work into the equation when considering what everyone needs. So I personally just starting to know myself a bit better, and some of the things that I think society wants me to have, I should probably want. Some of the things society thinks I should have, I probably shouldn't. And should be at peace with that. Get my umbrella out. I should put my shoe coverings on too. I bought myself some shoe coverings for this rain. I figured I'd call myself ready for it, especially since I have some Nikes this year, and they cost a lot, so you don't want to ruin them in the rain. So yeah, we're starting to have that rain weather where every 3 days it's gonna rain. And although it said it wasn't gonna rain today, I got my umbrella. You know, sometimes you just gotta ignore the weatherman. That's what I've learned in 40 years of life living in Los Angeles. Sometimes the weatherman don't know what is coming. You can't predict it properly for whatever set of reasons. And if you come out the house thinking that he's telling the truth, you find yourself in some real trouble. So that's what I don't want on this day. But yeah, man. So yeah, just reflecting, man. Not too much going on in my life, honestly. My grandfather, from what I understand, he's doing better. You know, they preparing for the holiday out there. We didn't do Bible study yesterday because I think like maybe 4 of the people decided they were going to kind of have a Thanksgiving friends meet or something. So they decided to kind of go in a different direction in Bible study. So we postponed it for next week. But you know, unfortunately for me, Thanksgiving falls on the day I have to pay the room, so that's a thing. But you know, all in all, I'm just cool, man. Focusing on the Lakers, of course. Doing my Laker videos is I love to do, and you know, like I said, just throwing myself into the art. Made some pretty decent pieces. Nothing timeless, but just continuing the practice and the consistency of it, you know. And letting God take care of the rest, man. So that's really all I gotta say about that, man. I would love to give you all some deep dive conversation, but I ain't really been focused on the things that I normally do that would otherwise turn me into some type of preacher or whatever. I'm just peaceful, man. I've been praying a lot. I want the Lord to kind of guide me toward these conversations organically rather than me forcing them. And there's so much real stuff going on in the world that there's always something we need to be talking about, man. There's always something. So it's never quite easy to keep up with the world and the atrocities in it. But what I can say is I'm praying for a change in regards to the culture within my mind. Some of the things that I align with that allow for me to be complicit with these energies that the Lord doesn't really appreciate, but has to just live with in the presence of all of us who are just like this for whatever reason. Superficial, money grubbing, lustful, you know, praising of violence and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff is just, you know, he got to kick the whole lot of us out of heaven if he won't accept some of those things. And that's the reality of it. But we at the same time got to change our ways of doing things. And we can't just be aware of certain things not being any good for our spirit, but still going with them because everybody else is. At some point in time, you got to look at yourself and say, well, no. Asking God to make the exception for you versus you being aware that this is not something that he's going to be happy with. You know what I mean? At some point in time, you got to stop doing what you're doing for him, even though you like doing it, and maybe you haven't been held accountable for it, and maybe everybody around you agrees with it. At the end of the day, if you know in your heart and you believe he doesn't like it, then maybe you should just do him a favor and just try to wean off of those things, or stop cold turkey or whatever it is that you need to do to not do those things. Don't do them. Make it a goal, you know. And so that's part of it as well for me, just considering those type of things and asking him to influence my mind to move toward him and have a close relationship with him, while asking for forgiveness for whatever needs to be forgiven, stuff that I don't even know I do wrong, since it's so easy to fall into wrongdoing in this world. So yeah, man, that's part of the conversation, man. I think I'll leave it at that. Maybe a Laker video will come up with something, but for now I'm just gonna walk, enjoy my day, go pick up what I need to pick up, walk back home, and continue enjoying my night. Look forward to listening to my playlist, Delicity, 4:05. Later on tonight, making some more art. And, just maintaining my consistency, man, to end this year. The same thing that I was doing at the beginning of the year is the same thing I'm doing this end of this year. And the idea is to build. Not necessarily to be stagnant, but to build. So encourage everybody to build something, man. And don't be impatient with the process. Because at the end of the day, stopping your process doesn't bring you any closer to the finish line. But continuing that process through your frustration of the monotonous nature of that practice will eventually build whatever it is that you're trying to build. But you set out a goal to start something, and seeing it through is the only way it gets done. And the process of seeing things through can be frustrating. You can look up and not be pleased with your progress. You can look up and feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again for a period of time, and not seeing the creativity kind of manifest, or seeing the progress isn't necessarily manifest. But that's part of that journey, man. And any and all things that you're trying to do, that is part of the journey, is getting through those days and finding yourself motivated in them days to continue seeing the bigger picture for what it is that ultimately you're trying to do, which is build. And in building, you will find yourself more resistant to the temptation of quitting on days where you don't feel that great about your progress. And that's really what it's about, man. Getting through them tough days. Anything worth having is not only worth doing when you feel like it, but it's worth sacrificing for when you don't. So that's what I'm telling y'all, man. Keep building on what you're building. Keep believing in your process. Don't be afraid of the notion that you could lose it all in one day. That's just part of the risk of doing anything, man. But I can guarantee you can lose it all with one quitting. That's for sure. So that's what I want to leave you with. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.